Sorry about that. The quarterback club. He stopped there. I thought there was some tins in there. Oh, what a way to say it. How do you think golf questions? If I just start off by saying, obviously last week was exciting. I think the one thing our guys enjoyed as much as I did is having the students back on campus, not just probably throughout the week for them to have a few more things to do and a few more things to, be focused on other than, completely football at times, but to have them in the crowd, to have that little bit more of the emotions that I think we maybe don't see before school starts. So I think that's a big boost to our guys. I think that was a big boost to us. Obviously the way we played was a boost, but it's nice to have that behind you, and really want to thank them, and hopefully they continue to do the same things and get better each and every week like us. And we can open it up for questions.
Bill?
Only
one part.
Just evaluate, I'll just ask one right now, just to evaluate how you thought Braxton played, how he responded to the situation, and what do you see encouraging or discouraging, I guess, from his play?
I mean, he did a good job. Like you said, the number one thing he did was he held on to the football. He made some plays with his feet. He settled down, threw some good balls. Later in the game, I think originally starting off with the ball wasn't coming out of his hand quite as well as he would have liked or anyone else would have liked. But that can come with nerves, and that can come with a lot of different things. So he settled down. He was good on the sideline. He took some shots. So he still got up and continued to compete. I think that's the number one most important thing we saw from him is his demeanor and how he competed throughout the entire game.
How would you characterize the month upcoming for you, the October stretch of games you have, and how well prepared do you think you guys are for that?
Well, we'll see. We'll see real quick here, and it's hard to look past any one game. You lay awake at night anyway, but if you look and try and figure out what you're going to do the next 4 weeks, it's even more difficult. So 1 week at a time, our focus is on getting better, and we know the kind of team we have and the amount of youth that we have that if we can continue to focus on getting better each and every day as well as each and every week, I think we got a chance to have a good month.
Obviously, you're just concentrating on Michigan State. Knowing you have Nebraska, Illinois, and Wisconsin, it's got to be the most critical month for you guys.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it. It is. It's a big month, and our guys understand that. I mean, they're not blind. They walk in every day and see the schedule up on the board. But again, we try to make sure they stay focused on what it is we got to do and focused on getting better. We know it's going to be a grind, and I think you knew that in the summer. You knew that when this thing started off. No matter what the situation was, that was going to be a grind. This is going to be a grind, and that's how you get better.
I know it's a small subset of games, but Michigan State leads the Big Ten in defense. Is this the biggest test you've faced so far with your offense?
I think so. I mean, obviously, I think Miami had a very good defense. Every week somebody poses a little bit different. I think last week there was maybe they didn't have the talent that maybe Michigan State has right now. But they do a lot of different things Colorado-wise. It gives offense some problems. Michigan State's probably as good up front as we've seen. They're going to definitely get on your guys outside. They're going to put pressure on you, whether it's 4 or 5 or 6 men at any time. So I think we understand that. How we handle it will be the key for the game.
And if I can just follow up, as a defensive coach, I would think that anytime you went into a game where the other team had a true freshman, it would stand to reason that you'd think, let's throw everything we got at him and see how he reacts. Is that what you anticipate from Michigan State?
I would imagine. I mean, they're still going to be who they are, and they are a very aggressive team anyway. So if that factors into it, they'll be even more aggressive. But really, in a lot of what you watch from them, I don't know how you could get a whole lot more aggressive. I mean, they're going to bring, like I said, 4, 5, and 6 most of the time, and sometimes more if they can. So will they be more aggressive? I mean, it's a good chance. I think that knowing the situation and knowing what their mentality is, I wouldn't expect anything else.
Bill? I know that they didn't play with only part of their team last year, but could you comment on all the adversity they went through with Coach Dantonio, and also do you think people really remember that they were one of the tri-champions? It seems like the bowl changed perceptions of their program to some people.
Again, if they worry about what the public and the media thinks too much, they won't be doing what they need to do. They were co-champions last year, had a great season. Maybe they went into BCS just because of the way things worked out. But I'm sure they weren't satisfied and happy with where they ended up at the end of the year as well. But they had a great year, and all the different things that they had go on there. I mean, to me, they handled it great.
Any sort of thing that you bring up to your team? They went 11-1 in the regular season. All these disruptions.
I mean, again, we've got enough things to focus on. I think we've talked about those kinds of things and what teams have done what in the preseason. When we were in camp, kind of really looking back into whether it was a Michigan State or whether it was an NFL team or the Green Bay Packers or how many people they had down or the different things. We brought those things up when we had the time to, so that those guys could understand that there's been a lot of people that have been in their situation, and there's people out there that are in a harder and tougher situation than they're in, but there's ways of getting through it and getting better and continue to fight.
Missed tackles was something we talked about after both the Toledo game and the Miami game. Was that something you felt the defense made progress with against Colorado?
I think we did. We still had some missed tackles, and I think you're always going to have them if you're aggressive. I think the biggest thing that happened last week, as opposed to the 2 weeks before that, if a guy missed a tackle, there was somebody else right there to make it. And maybe that wasn't the case, I know, in Miami. That wasn't probably the case all the time in the Toledo game. But we still missed some. We still know we got to get better at it. But the ones that we missed, there were 2 or 3 or 4 other guys right there afterwards. So our pursuit was a lot better.
Was that a focus last week in practice, swarming to the ball?
It's always a focus for us. It was obviously a little bit of a heightened awareness just because we didn't do as well as we have in the past 9 years at it. So it was something we talked about, but it's each and every week. I mean, defensively, that's the number one thing we talk about. We just didn't do a great job in Miami, and probably didn't do a great job in Toledo.
Can you talk about the selection of Jordan Hall as a game captain? Obviously, he was suspended for a couple games. What does it mean that you select him as a game captain this week after that suspension?
It means that Jordan is a part of our team. He's a big leader in the locker room. He does a great job. He's handled everything that we've asked him to handle with class and with dignity, and has not, batted an eye at it, with all the situations. And we understand that we're forgiving. We learn from our mistakes. But we're not going to throw guys away. And that's kind of the big thing, the reason we wanted to have the game captains the whole season, so that we can make sure we can bring everybody a part of this team, whatever their situation. If they learn from it, they grow from it, they have the right attitude, and they continue to fight and get better. This team loves them, and they'll always, be able to be in a position that they can get better. And in some situations like his, hey, we're excited to have him, and the past is the past, and we learn from it.